Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Rita and I've been wanting to make this video for quite some time now. I wanted to speak about my experience as a young mother at the age of 15. I know many of those that have been teen mothers, they have their own journey and their experiences. I'm going to go back before I found out I was pregnant. I was starting my freshman year, and during that time my parents were separated and divorce was approaching. It was very difficult dealing with those personal issues, and then also entering my freshman year I had a lot of emotions. I started to rebel, ditching school, not going home, staying out late, just hanging out with the wrong crowd. And March I ended up finding out I was pregnant along with my mother. She was devastated. I was crying. I had no idea what my journey was going to lead. I knew I was going to keep my baby, and if it was with or without my baby's father, I still was going to do the best that I could to care for my child. My baby's father, I told him that I was pregnant, and it was difficult dealing with the relationship. My relationship during that time with my boyfriend was very toxic and unhealthy. He was dealing with his own personal issues. We were back and forth in our relationship. I was staying with him at times. We'd get in an argument. I'd go back to my father's house, and it was a constant cycle of like that during my pregnancy. And so I was an emotional wreck, just dealing with so many issues. I remember going to take my first sonogram and finding out what I was having, and when they stated that I was having a boy, I was very excited and nervous at the same time. We're about to start, and I had to be ready for it, whether I liked it or not. This journey was gonna come, and in December while I was home, I remember my mucus plug coming out, and I was so scared. I called my father when he was at work, and he has stated that he was gonna call his girlfriend at the time because he had no idea either. And so she called me and stated to me to get in the shower, and that my father was going to be on his way to take me to the emergency. And you know, I'm excited and nervous at the same time, and we ended up at the emergency room, and I remember the rooms being full. I ended up in the storage room until they had a room open unsure for me. Whether or not to call my baby's father and let him know that I was going in labor, and I decided to let him know, and he ended up showing up. And you know, the delivery process, I was scared. I was so much in pain. It was not easy. I remember my sister being there, and later on my mom did show up, and they were all part of the delivery. And my son ended up weighing 7 pounds 7 ounces. He was 20 inches long. And I remember later on that day the nurse asking me what I was going to name him, and I had no idea what I was going to name him. My sister was there, and if I can remember, we were watching a show, and the basketball player Isaiah Thomas came up, and my sister was all, why don't you name him Isaiah Thomas? And well, I ended up naming him Isaiah Thomas. You don't know the reality when you have your child. How are you going to financially, how are you emotionally going to be there for your child? And you know, being young yourself, you had to grow up so quickly, and at times doing it on your own. Once that I'm much older and looking back, I could say that during that time, being rebellious and doing things that I wasn't supposed to, the thing that I believe that I was searching for was security, guidance, and love. And I believe during that time I wasn't getting it. And so, you know, being young, we go out and we find it somewhere else, and that's what happened. And then, you know, being pregnant, it just changes your whole life. And not only does it affect you, but it affects everybody around you. And I could say that I'm so blessed to have my son Isaiah in my life, because I honestly wouldn't know what I would do without him. He is such a good kid. I still call him kid, but he is a man today, and I do want to bring him in my story, and let him share his experience of having a young mother and a young father, and sitting here today and making this video. It's not easy, and it's very emotional, you know, having my son and, you know, learning as a mother. You know, now every day as a mother we learn every day new things, and I had to do that. You know, me and my son's father at the time, like I said, we had very much difficulties during our relationship, and you know, we have grown in our own, or individually and in our relationship. After so many years, we ended up getting back together, and I knew that I needed to better myself. Very passionate and working with children, and that was my goal, was to, you know, one day teach. And so I decided to go back and get my bachelor's in social science. And I knew later on in the years, I started working at child cares, and I decided I wanted to further my career, and I did get my master's in education. And I currently work for the school district, and I work with young mothers as well. And I love sharing my story, and I know what young mothers who I do work with, along with their children, what they deal with, and I tell them my experiences, and you know, give them the best advice that I could give when I didn't have any at the time. And but I'm hoping the next video, my son comes in and, like I say, to speak about his experience as having young parents, and who he is today, and where he's at in his own personal life. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification so you know when I post new videos, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up.